The Golden Reign, Episode 1, The Inauguration of Chaos. Chapter 1, The Dawn of the Golden Age. The sky over Washington, D.C., was a brilliant shade of crimson, streaked with gold clouds that seemed to shimmer with an unnatural glow. It was January 20th, 2029, and the National Mall was a sea of red hats, golden banners, and holographic billboards projecting slogans like, "Make America Golden Again," and, "Trump Forever." The air buzzed with drones, their tiny cameras capturing every angle of the crowd, which roared with a fervor that felt more like a rock concert than a presidential inauguration. At the center of it all stood Donald J. Trump, or as he now insisted on being called, the Golden Emperor. His hair, a gravity-defying cascade of platinum blonde, glowed under the sunlight, and his suit, a bespoke creation of gold-threaded fabric, reflected the crowd's adoration. He stood on a platform shaped like a massive golden eagle, its wings spread wide, clutching a podium emblazoned with his family crest, a lion holding a dollar sign. "Ladies and gentlemen, patriots, winners, the best people in the history of people." Trump's voice boomed through the speakers, amplified to a decibel level that rattled the windows of the Capitol. "Today, we begin the greatest administration this country, no, this world, has ever seen. Tremendous. Absolutely tremendous. Nobody does inaugurations better than me, folks. Nobody." The crowd erupted, chanting, "Trump! Trump! Trump!" A group of supporters in the front row waved signs reading, "The Golden Age begins," while others set off firecrackers shaped like tiny golden skyscrapers. Somewhere in the distance, a marching band played a brassy rendition of "Sweet Caroline," which Trump had declared the new national anthem because, as he put it, "It's got the best energy, folks. Nobody sings it better than me." Behind the scenes, chaos reigned. The Secret Service, now rebranded as the Golden Guard and outfitted in gold-plated tactical gear, scrambled to keep up with the president's last-minute demands. He'd insisted on a flyover by a squadron of fighter jets painted gold, a request that had sent the Pentagon into a frenzy. The jets were still being spray-painted at Andrews Air Force Base, and the pilots were reportedly refusing to fly them until the paint dried. Meanwhile, the new First Family stood on the platform, a collection of larger-than-life characters who seemed to have stepped out of a reality show. Ivanka Trump, now the chief glamour officer, wore a diamond-encrusted gown that cost more than the GDP of a small nation. Jared Kushner, appointed supreme advisor to everything, stood beside her, his expression blank as he stared into the distance, possibly calculating real estate values in his head. Donald Trump Jr., the newly minted Secretary of Winning, was live-streaming the event to his 50 million followers on Truth Social 2.0, shouting, "This is YUGE," every few seconds. The only person missing was Melania, who had declined to attend, citing scheduling conflicts with her new skincare empire, Golden Glow. Rumors swirled that she was holed up in a Mar-a-Lago bunker, refusing to set foot in D.C. until the White House was renovated to her specifications, gold-plated everything, naturally. As Trump raised his hand to take the oath of office, administered by a visibly nervous Chief Justice wearing a gold-trimmed robe, the crowd fell silent. The words of the oath were barely audible over the hum of drones and the occasional explosion of a firecracker. When he finished, Trump turned to the microphone and added, "I also swear to make this country so great, it'll make your head spin. Believe me." The crowd lost it. Somewhere, a man dressed as a bald eagle began breakdancing. Chapter 2, The Golden Cabinet. The first official act of the Trump administration was to unveil the new cabinet, a collection of loyalists, influencers, and eccentric billionaires who made the previous administrations look like a community theater troupe. The announcement took place in the newly renamed Golden Throne Room, formerly the East Room, which had been redecorated overnight with gold chandeliers, gold wallpaper, and a life-size statue of Trump riding a golden stallion. "These are the best people, folks," Trump declared, standing at a podium shaped like a giant T. "Nobody picks cabinets better than me. I could have been a casting director, but I chose to save America instead. You're welcome." The Secretary of State was Elon Musk, who had accepted the role on the condition that he could conduct diplomacy from his Mars colony via hologram. His first act was to tweet, "Diplomacy is overrated. Let's just buy Greenland and call it a day. #Mega." The crowd cheered, though nobody was entirely sure why. The Secretary of Defense was a former professional wrestler named Titan Thunder, a 300-pound behemoth who claimed to have once suplexed a grizzly bear. His qualifications included looking tough and loving America more than anyone else, except maybe the president. His first policy proposal was to replace all military tanks with monster trucks painted gold. The Department of Education was abolished entirely, replaced by the Department of Winning, headed by Donald Trump Jr. "We don't need schools teaching woke nonsense," he declared. "We're gonna teach kids how to win, how to make deals, and how to build skyscrapers. That's real education." Perhaps the most controversial appointment was the Secretary of Truth, a newly created position given to a popular conspiracy theorist known as QAnon Karen. Her platform, a mix of cryptic prophecies and viral TikToks, had amassed a cult following. Her first act was to declare that all news outlets except Truth Social 2.0 were fake news, and would be replaced by AI-generated holograms of Trump delivering the nightly news. The only holdover from a previous administration was Mike Pompeo, who was appointed Secretary of Loyalty. His job was to ensure that every member of the administration remained 100% loyal, 100% tremendous, 100% Trump. He carried a golden clipboard and a stern expression, and rumors swirled that he had a secret loyalty test involving reciting Trump's 2016 campaign slogans backward. Chapter 3. The administration's first crisis hit exactly 37 minutes after the inauguration, when a massive sinkhole opened up in the middle of Pennsylvania Avenue. The hole, which locals dubbed the Golden Abyss, swallowed a motorcade of golden limousines and a food truck selling Trump burgers, 100% American beef, topped with gold leaf. Theories about the sinkhole's cause ranged from infrastructure neglect to a secret deep state plot to undermine the administration. Trump, unfazed, addressed the nation from the White House lawn, standing in front of a golden fountain shaped like his face. "This sinkhole, folks, it's a disgrace. A total disaster. But don't worry, I've got the best engineers, the best builders. We're gonna fill it with gold, make it the most beautiful sinkhole in the world. People will come from all over to see it. It'll be a tourist attraction. Tremendous." The crowd cheered, though some exchanged confused glances. Engineers scrambled to assess the situation, only to discover that the sinkhole was expanding, threatening to swallow the Lincoln Memorial. Social media exploded with hashtags like Golden Abyss and Trump Sinkhole, with some users claiming the hole was a portal to another dimension. QAnon Karen fueled the speculation, posting a cryptic video hinting that the sinkhole was a sign from the universe, that Trump was destined to drain the swamp, literally. Meanwhile, the Golden Guard was deployed to cordon off the area, but their gold-plated gear was so heavy that several agents got stuck in the mud. A team of influencers was brought in to live-stream the crisis, with one vlogger, Patriotic Pete 69, declaring, "This is the most American sinkhole ever. It's huge, it's bold, it's golden." Chapter 4. The Resistance. Not everyone was thrilled with the new administration. In the shadows of DC's dive bars and co-working spaces, a resistance movement was forming. Calling themselves the Silver Rebellion, they were a ragtag group of former bureaucrats, disillusioned influencers, and rogue AI programmers who believed Trump's surreal reign threatened the fabric of reality itself. Their leader was a mysterious figure known only as the Archivist, a former librarian who had once worked in the National Archives. Clad in a silver cloak and armed with an encyclopedic knowledge of constitutional law, the Archivist was determined to preserve the old America, the one with checks and balances, not gold-plated everything. "We're not against progress," the Archivist said in a secret podcast recorded in a basement under DuPont Circle. "But this is madness. He's turning the country into a theme park. We need to fight back before the whole nation becomes a Trump-branded casino." The Silver Rebellion's first act was to hack the holographic billboards on the National Mall, replacing Trump's slogans with messages like "Freedom isn't golden" and "Save the Constitution." The hack lasted 17 minutes before the Golden Guard shut it down, but it was enough to spark a viral movement online. The hashtag Silver Rebellion trended briefly before being drowned out by a flood of pro-Trump bots. The rebellion faced an uphill battle. Trump's administration had already declared dissent un-American, and the Department of Truth was working overtime to label critics as losers and haters. Still, the archivist remained undeterred, recruiting members through encrypted channels and planning a bold move to disrupt Trump's next major event, the unveiling of the Golden Wall, a massive border structure made entirely of gold-plated steel. Chapter 5: The Golden Wall. The Golden Wall was Trump's signature project, a 2,000-mile-long barrier along the U.S. Mexico border that he claimed would keep out the bad hombres and make America shine like never before. The wall was funded by a controversial Patriot tax on all non-Trump branded products, which had sparked protests in cities like Austin and San Francisco. Construction had begun the day after the inauguration, with teams of workers in golden hard hats laboring around the clock. The unveiling ceremony was set to take place in El Paso, Texas, where Trump planned to cut a giant golden ribbon with a pair of diamond-encrusted scissors. The event was billed as the greatest ribbon cutting in history, with live performances by Kid Rock, a golden fireworks display, and a flyover by the still-wet golden fighter jets, but the Silver Rebellion had other plans. The archivist had uncovered a flaw in the wall's design. The gold plating was so heavy that it was causing the structure to sink into the desert sand. Using a network of drones, the rebellion planned to project images of the sinking wall onto the sky during the ceremony, exposing the project's flaws to the world. As the day of the unveiling approached, tensions rose. The Golden Guard beefed up security, deploying gold-plated tanks and AI-powered surveillance drones. QAnon Karen warned her followers of a deep state drone attack, while Elon Musk tweeted, "Drones? I invented drones. Nobody does drones better than me." Golden Wall. Chapter 6: The Unveiling. The morning of the unveiling dawned hot and dusty in El Paso. The crowd was a mix of die-hard Trump supporters, curious onlookers, and a few undercover Silver Rebellion operatives disguised as hot dog vendors. Trump arrived in a golden helicopter, descending like a deity to the cheers of thousands. His speech was a masterclass in hyperbole, promising that the Golden Wall would last 1,000 years and make America the envy of the galaxy. As he raised the scissors to cut the ribbon, the sky lit up with a projection. A time-lapse video of the wall sinking into the sand, accompanied by the words, "The Golden Dream is sinking." The crowd gasped, then fell silent. Trump froze, the scissors glinting in his hand. For a moment, it seemed the rebellion had won. But then Trump laughed, a booming, theatrical laugh that echoed across the desert. "Fake news," he shouted. "This is CGI, folks. The wall is perfect. The best wall. Nobody builds walls like me. The haters are just jealous." The crowd roared back to life, chanting his name. The drones were shot down by the Golden Guard, and the ceremony continued as if nothing had happened. The ribbon was cut, the fireworks exploded, and the jets roared overhead, leaving trails of gold glitter in the sky. Chapter 7: The Aftermath. Back in D.C., the archivist sat in the basement, listening to reports of the failed operation. The Silver Rebellion had taken a hit, but they weren't defeated. "He's built a cult of personality," the archivist said to the team. "But cults can crumble. We just need to find the cracks." Meanwhile, in the Golden Throne Room, Trump was already planning his next move, a reality show called The Golden Apprentice, where contestants would compete to join his administration. The prize? A golden desk and a chance to make America great again. As the sun set over the Capitol, the crimson sky seemed to pulse with an eerie energy. The Golden Age had begun, but it was anyone's guess how long it would last, or what surreal twists awaited the nation.